to 3 degrees. And now you're up to date on News Talk.
The Newsround on Off the Ball. This is News Talk.
Welcome along to Tuesday night's Off the Ball. It's Mick McCarthy here with you until 10 o'clock this evening. No Owen tonight, but he has recorded a really brilliant interview with Oisin Murphy, the Kerry jockey who's just been crowned Britain's champion jockey for the 5th time. While blazing an amazing sporting path though, he's also been dealing with alcoholism, something that all came to a head when charged with drink driving earlier this year. He's written a fascinating book about not only his addictions but about the extreme lives that jockeys live, and that chat is coming up after 8 o'clock tonight. Later this hour, we're going to speak to Brian O'Driscoll. He's in studio to give his verdict on Ireland's loss to South Africa at the weekend, a defeat that seems to have us all doing a bit of soul searching on the future of this Irish rugby team. Get in touch with the show, 087 180 180 is the WhatsApp number, or text us on the same number, or you can get us at Off the Ball on X. Cameron, I'll just let you in a little secret there. The reason I stuttered over the thing is because when I scribbling out that, I wrote my own phone number. But anyway, you've heard from Cameron Hill.
Get directly in touch.
He's here with us for the Newsround on the football show tonight. Vinny Perth will be joining us to enjoy the Champions League evening, and he is here with us as well. Vinny, have you ever accidentally gave out your own phone number on the radio?
Not yet, no. I'm just as well.
3 hours here.
Yeah. I got a bit of stick actually, I believe, of a few Villa fans. I was quite critical of them on Sunday. You're a massive Villa man. Talk to me about...
I saw that clip, right?
Yeah.
And do you know what it made me think? I'm really fed up with social media. Because you're just encouraged to have this negative feeling. I saw you and Richie having a conversation about a match that you just watched. Two people that I know that you're being fairly reasonable about. But because I'm looking at it from a perspective, I'm there going, they have this wrong, they have this completely wrong, but it's like, you don't actually. You just have a perspective on things, and it's just like, there's a rage bait quality to every conversation we have these days.
I can understand why it could scar you. I've had to learn not to be scared about giving an opinion, whether it's League of Ireland, whether it's TV, radio, whatever it is. But you can only say what you can see. Like, Villa were poor on Sunday. Leeds were okay. And if that Villa team play like that every week, they won't end up in the Champions League spots. That's all. That's what you say.
I think what people took, again, what a lot of people do is they hear the first minute of a clip, and there was a sense of this Villa team aren't a Champions League team, and people will say, well, they were goal difference away and a bad refereeing decision from making it last year, having made it the previous year, did well last year, they're there or thereabouts again. This is a manager who knows how to get results and all that, and we could go into an in-depth conversation on that, but there's certainly nothing to be enraged about you saying they weren't very good on Sunday.
And if ever there was a year to get Champions League football, it might quite possibly this year with the way the Premiership is running. So go and seize the moment for them. It's an opportunity. But they weren't good on Sunday.
Yeah.
But they got the result.
Results have been very good recently.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that you have to look for. And Leeds kind of battered them off the park in the first half, and they did adjust. So there's sense of optimism. But it's not Villa we're going to talk about, at least right now, because Chelsea and Barcelona renew a Champions League rivalry tonight that I have to say in my head is like, God, Chelsea and Barcelona always play each other. But I didn't realise the extent of it until I looked it up here. This is just the Champions League. So 99-2000, a game I don't remember at all. They played in the quarterfinals. Chelsea went 3-0 up at Stamford Bridge. Barcelona got one back. It ended 3-1. And then in the new camp, Barcelona won the game 3-1 and then scored 2 goals in extra time to win it 5-1. This is the Barcelona team of Figo, Rivaldo, Kluivert, etc. But it's not really the teams we remember from these two. But the real rivalry started in 04-05, last 16 game. Barca win the first leg 2-1. Then Chelsea score 3 goals in the first 19 minutes, including a goal by Damien Duff in Stamford Bridge. And then Ronaldinho has an all-time Ronaldinho game, scores 2 goals, and John Terry has to get a late winner for Barcelona to put them through. The next year, they play in the last 16. Barcelona win 3-2 in aggregate. Not uneventful game, but so so great are the other games, I'm not even going to go into what happened. They met in the groups the following year. Chelsea win at Stamford Bridge. It's a 2-2 draw. Drogba scores an equaliser in the last minute there. Then, in 2009, after a year off, they meet in probably the most famous game between them. It's semi-final. They draw 0-0 at the new camp. Chelsea go 1-0 up through an unbelievable Michael Essien goal. Do you remember that, Vinny?
Yeah.
At Stamford Bridge. they Abidal gets sent off for Barcelona, and they're basically Chelsea should have 3, 4, 5 goals, and then this happens in the last second of the game.
But it's Messi, it's Iniesta, and the Chelsea fans cover their eyes in horror. 2 minutes from time, and it's heartbreak at Stamford Bridge. Iniesta rattles one in, and suddenly in the minute and a half that remains, Chelsea find themselves needing another goal. Lampard takes the corner and Chid was up there and got a head to it. Ballack has a rattle, a handball appeal, and the referee says no. Ballack confronts him angrily, but just as he has been the rest of the night, any penalty appeal in his direction, the referee not interested. And there's the final whistle, and it's Barcelona who are in the final against Manchester United in Rome, and John Terry is absolutely furious. Chelsea are livid at the rejection of their penalty appeals from the Norwegian referee, and Chelsea, who have all the fury which Didier Drogba is directing at the referee now.
We can't play what Didier Drogba said next directly into the camera because it involves some curse words, but I remembered this game to an extent that it was controversial and that Drogba did that at the end. But the actual drama of it, I didn't realise that the second handball incident, 2 blatant handballs, that the Piqué, the first one.
Was the Samuel Eto'o was the second, wasn't
With
it?
the hand up in the air, I
was
think,
it
yeah.
a blatant handball?
It was a hand up high. It'd be a penalty now, especially in the Champions League. But maybe you're right, in the pre-VAR era, who knows. The Piqué one in the first, like again, the way I would judge it is I couldn't remember the incidences, and you're just watching the first play before the replays, and both of the time you're like, oh, that's definitely a handball. So I remember on the night being vaguely on Chelsea's side, despite not quite having the disposition to be on Chelsea's side against Barcelona.
And Pep had hair back then, if you remember.
Yeah.
And it was Gus Hiddink was the manager.
Yeah, well done. Yeah, I give you no heads up on that.
The left foot finish from Essien is just like, if that wins a game, I think it's won. It's up there. Zidane's goal, if you think about Zidane's goal, that's to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Was just as good as Essien's finish. But Zidane's goal obviously will always get remembered. But that game, like, if you think about Michael Pallock might have played in midfield as well.
Yeah, he was the one who had the shot, actually. He runs after the ref.
There was a lot going on. But Chelsea were so good back then, weren't they? Like, they were.
Just think about it. The year before, they'd lost the penalty shootout to United to win the Champions League. They were real top team. And it's funny when you come across these, and I'm going to get to the next game in a minute, you just see like a random caretaker manager in the semi-finals of the Champions League. Chelsea just had a way about them back then that was unique. But this rivalry was like, it was so hot at that stage. They kept them away for 3 years, and then they played in 2012. This is a Barcelona team coming off winning 2 of the previous 3 Champions Leagues. Chelsea beat them at Stamford Bridge again, 1-0, and then they're 2-1 up. Or Barcelona are 2-1 up at the Nou Camp. They're chasing the goal because they're about to go out in away goals, and then Gary Neville has his most famous commentary moment.
This could be the most dramatic story of the season. It's Torres to give Chelsea a place in the Champions League final. The headline has been written.
Unbelievable! I said the last 18 months have just been forgotten in 2 seconds. And look at those Chelsea players, the bench, the manager, they're all on the pitch, they're jumping around like mad. It's gone absolutely wild.
Gary Neville was a bit more Mancunian back then, I think, was he?
Yeah.
In his early days.
He's got media trained. He actually summed up Torres very well there, if you think about it. How bad was Torres for Chelsea?
Yeah, it was a disaster. 50 million back when it was real money.
And there's an argument, Torres, Suarez, Dalglish, if you talk to Liverpool fans, they're all in that category of how great he was, and then went there and just never. It was 50 million, is that what you said?
I think so, yeah. It was 50. It was
which is a lot at the time, not maybe now.
Huge at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you read Alan Parry's interview today in the Times?
No.
Talking about that moment.
No, I didn't.
It's so good. I was just thinking, once you were kind of going into this, oh my God, that's the exact same moment. So he credits Gary Neville with basically ruining his "they think it's all over" moment in commentaries.
Oh, no way.
See, I have a story about that, Cameron. You're dead right.
Go on.
So, do you remember...
Which one did you ruin?
That old fella that used to work here, Nathan Murphy. Do you remember he got turfed out?
Yeah.
So, Liverpool scored, and the header from the goalkeeper,
Allison, yeah.
And we were we covered the game together. I jumped up, banged my legs, all that stuff, but kept really quiet. Because what I remembered was Niall Quinn talks about he was Co-Com was in the studio or in the game when City played QPR, and Martin Tyler went on his Aguero moment, and always thanked Quinn for staying quiet.
Okay.
And Nathan, I still remind him when he was leaving, all that goal came up. He never thanked me for staying quiet and just giving him his moment. But Neville actually completely ruins that moment for
Barry. Yeah, maybe. Although it's such a good moment in itself, it captures the excitement. But I think maybe from a commentator's point of view, that made it into Nathan's farewell package as well. So that's what I
was actually in the gym listening to him going, and he still didn't mention me. Anyway, Nathan's gone, forget him.
But that was another remark. Like again, for it to be Chelsea again, and Messi misses. Terry gets sent off in the first half of that game, by the way, and Chelsea are hanging on, and they get that goal. Messi misses a penalty for them to go 3-1 up, and everybody starts to realise he's never scored against Chelsea, and that became a thing. And then they didn't play each other again for another 6 years. And then the last time they meet, it's another knockout thing. It's last 16. Messi scores in a 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge. That opens the floodgates. He scores after 3 minutes at the Nou Camp, gets 2. They win 3-0. And the rivalry is kind of over. You know, this was much later Chelsea. They're a shadow of themselves by 2018. It's the Hazard sort of team. I know they're winning leagues the odd time as well, but it just doesn't feel like that kind of post-Mourinho great team. They're for me, two of those games, but with some of the other ones, the 2005 one as well, they're some of the best Champions League memories. It is remarkable that those teams were thrown together so often back then.
Yeah, but they were going deep. They were going deep, so it's a little bit like you've seen Liverpool, Real Madrid in finals a lot. Why? Because they go deep. It's probably the two of them did. And Chelsea were very good in the Champions League at that stage under Mourinho. Always felt like they were hard done by a couple of games. Obviously, the Liverpool game was Garcia's goal. It was that never was. You wonder where VAR would have been. But what's really interesting is I was reading something today. So Chelsea have only lost one of their last 9 games against Barcelona. They haven't won loads, lots of draws, but very few teams have a good record like that against Barcelona.
Yeah, it doesn't feel the same now though, doesn't it? Like both teams. It's like Chelsea, whether they're starting something or not, I think most people probably think not with Maresca. And Barcelona are just in such flux, like where they'll always be relevant, but you know, they're not the team of Messi and the great Spain players. No. And as much as we'll get into the nostalgia tonight, we're not all that excited for this game in particular. How are you finding the general Champions League? It's funny, we were talking last night about Arsenal's week, and they've got Spurs, and then they've got Bayern, and then they've got Chelsea, and it feels like Bayern game kind of a freebie. Like they're going to get into the top 8 anyway.
I think I really love this format, believe it or not, because I think Spurs might play. They might play Paris Saint-Germain in a couple of weeks or whatever. There's a lot of fixtures that you go, oh, that's great for them. And you have to put yourself in the eyes of a fan of these clubs, whether it's the Liverpool Real Madrid game a couple of weeks back. Yes, that could come around if they're in the same group. But these sort of big fixtures coming around, you have to put yourself in there.
I went to Villa and Juventus last year, and that was like, I had the choice of 2 or 3 big games because they played Bayern Munich there as well. That just wouldn't have happened in the old format.
And you may have be put in a group with Juventus, but you played them home and away, and that was it. You were done. Now you're getting 3 or 4 big games. So I think for that sense, I like it. But then ultimately, the format, it's not difficult to work out what's happening next. But the format then is still not perfect. You get it, but. Do you know what? It didn't reward Liverpool last year, if you remember. They were so excellent in it. You wonder if the same thing could happen to an Arsenal, maybe, because Arsenal have been flawless in that sense. So, and then you get someone like a Barcelona scraping in, and all of a sudden you draw.
PSG barely made it last year, of course, and then went on that amazing run. Before we get to the news round, just want to mention, if you're not already an Off the Ball member, now is your chance, or you can get the perfect gift for the sports fan in your life. Our Black Friday offer is now live. You can get 1 year of OTB subscription for just $69.99, down from $99.99. You'll get exclusive podcasts, ad-free listening, and early event access. Go to offtheball.com/Black Friday for more. The offer ends on the 1st of December. Cameron, what have you got for us tonight?
Well, we'll start with Champions League, and Manchester City could move to the top of the standings for this evening at least. The 2023 winners are unbeaten so far in this season's league phase and welcome Bayer Leverkusen to the Etihad Stadium. I'll have team news from that game in a second, but manager Pep Guardiola says they want to get their European fate decided as soon as possible.
Third in the table in Bundesliga, massively important game to finish what we want to finish in the first 8, and one more point, we'll be already qualified for the next round in front of the 23 or 24 teams.
So sweeping changes for City tonight, with Nico Gonzalez the only player retained from the defeat to Newcastle at the weekend. No Erling Haaland or Gianluigi Donnarumma in the starting team for the hosts. So James Trafford starts in goals, and the likes of Ryan Nori, Oscar Bob, Savinho all come in, with John Stones captaining the side and Omar Marmoush playing up front.
This is kind of what we mean, Vinny, isn't it? This doesn't feel box office like.
No, it doesn't. But to be fair to say, it's still not the worst lineup and you'll ever put out from a Man City point of view. And there's no doubt it isn't. And they obviously feel they've enough about them as well to get a result. And look forward to seeing Marmoush. I think City are that type of team that have about 4 or 5 players who are potentially world class. They're still very, very good. And if the likes of Marmoush, Oscar Bob, Savinho come good, then they could be really good.
Yeah,
really,
none of those
really
players would look out of place in the team. It's just them all being there together.
all together.
Yeah.
And I always use this line, good players become great players in great teams. There are a lot of good players there. If they were turning up in that City team of 4 or 5 years ago, they'd be outstanding.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Cameron, Chelsea and Barcelona have a lot to live up to if they've been listening to the first 20 minutes of Off the Ball tonight.
Yeah, and that's the action at Stamford Bridge this evening. The Blues up to second in the Premier League after this weekend's win over Burnley. They're on a current good run of form, and Enzo Maresca, their boss, is feeling quite optimistic.
I think we are a better team compared to the day we played Bayern away, but every game is different. Barcelona use different weapons to attack, also different weapons to defend, so it will be completely a different game.
Chelsea have Alejandro Garnacho and Wesley Fofana in the starting team for tonight's game at the Bridge, while Marcus Rashford is left on the bench for Barcelona this evening. And Newcastle are in the south of France for a meeting with Marseille tonight. The Magpies got the better of City, as we mentioned, in the Premier League at the weekend, and manager Eddie Howe is hoping his side can continue the momentum this evening.
We have played well in one-off games, both home and away. This is probably the first time since I've been here where there's that element where you're hoping we perform and we bring everything together. But from past experience this season, there's no guarantee. Now we need to build our confidence to deliver that.
3 changes from that win over City. Dan Byrne and Joe Willock come in, while Anthony Gordon replaces Nick Voltemata up front. Mason Greenwood is in the starting team for Marseille tonight, and all of those games kick off at 8 o'clock, Michael.
Good stuff. Ireland, I suppose no surprise, but it's still kind of like crap to see, isn't it?
Yeah, quite the come down after the week that was. They'll be bottom seeds if they qualify for the 2026 World Cup in North America. The 6 playoff winners will be in pot 4 for next Friday's group stage draw, as will Pico Lopez's Cape Verde, while Scotland, who qualified automatically last week, will be in pot 3 for that draw, which takes place next Friday.
In absolute stunned shock at your next story, Cameron.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo looks set to be available for the start of Portugal's World Cup campaign, despite his red card against Ireland in Dublin earlier this month. A FIFA disciplinary committee has imposed a 3-match ban, but the final 2 games are suspended for 1 year, provided there is no similar infringement during the probation period. And he's already
I've
served.
never heard of that.
I've never heard of
that.
Sorry, Cameron, you're
Crazy.
mid-sentence there. No, that's not right like that. Just
It gets better, Vinny. He's already served the 1-match suspension in Portugal's final qualifier against Armenia, which they won 9-1. So
that's nonsense, isn't it?
great.
It's like it, to even assume that that's on the level, I think makes him muggy. I have to be honest.
Now I feel Stephen Doyle gave me a bit of stick for not defending Ronaldo, but going, you know what, like if it was an Irish player, you'd still go, he made a mistake, but it wasn't loads in it, and everybody jumped on him and sort of went after him, but now he should have got more than that. That's a joke.
We'll talk more about it in the football show a little bit later on. Cameron, do you want to bring us through a bit of rugby?
Yeah, Leinster's James Ryan will find out later this week if his red card against South Africa will be upheld. The Ireland second row, of course, dismissed in Saturday's 24-13 win or defeat to the Springboks after a bunker review into a dangerous clear-out by on Malcolm Marks, and the province returned to action on Friday with a URC trip to the Dragons before kicking off their European campaign by hosting Harlequins on Saturday week and travelling to Leicester the weekend after.
Okay, time for about one more story maybe. Ty Byrne in the World Team of the Year.
Yeah, Ty Byrne has made the World Team of the Year, World Rugby's Team of the Year, the only Irish player on that side. He's selected for the second successive year and is included on the second row alongside England captain Maro Itoje. South Africa leads the way, unsurprisingly, with 6 players in the 15.
Cameron, quick question before Mick cuts me off. I spoke to you about how much I love South Africa against France, and then I watched them against Ireland, right? But again, there's a health warning. I'm not the rugby man, but how much people kicking the ball away is just it's ruining the game for me.
It isn't. That's my quick answer.
It's not. Okay.
It's ruined the game for him. Things are subjective.
It hasn't ruined the game.
A lot of the criticism of Ireland was that they probably didn't kick it enough, given the way the game is being played at the moment, and play for territory rather than kind of get.
Yeah, but we've stopped moving across the back line. It's now kicking it. But the excitement of the game was moving across the back line.
Yeah, well, we're very predictable and one-dimensional as well. I think that'll be probably the criticism of Ireland, one of many, I would say. We'll get into it with Brian Driscoll at 7:30, and I'm happy to have a bit more of a chat with you at 8:00 about it, Vinny.
Because it's annoying me, Cameron. I'm not finished with you. I'll come back.
We'll get Cameron come in at 8:00. We'll have a bit of a chat.
Ah, great. No, Vinny's going to corner me outside and give me his 2 cents.
Let's bring it on the airwaves.
I won't be kicking it up in the air, that's for sure, Cameron.
Okay, that's tonight's news round. Let's get the cash machine.
News Talk's Cash Machine.
After another big winner last week, there's another huge amount to be won on Friday. The number you need to know is €266,000